Hello, everyone, and welcome to the HHW Show podcast featuring the one and only OV1 right here. And of course, Heck and Frank will be coming shortly. But on today's episode, man, so many changes on the championship belts. Is it worth it? Why are we doing this? We're going to probably debate as to why we should have new belts, even though it's been changed several times in the last decade. Hector has a problem with that. We're going to find that out. All right. And of course, are there frictions on both Raw and SmackDown of factions? Really? Man, I don't know, man. But this drama is getting buck wild as we head to the road to the Money in the Bank coming up in about 3 weeks. So, Hector, Frank, what's up, guys? Welcome aboard. We'll start off with the championship belts because I know that we were just discussing about this a little bit earlier, but WWE championship belts are changing up, man. And of course, this it started with after the 1000th day, and let me go ahead and present my screen with you because very important indeed that we share this. And if I get there, I might do something here. I don't know. There we go. All right. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
We hear you.
Yeah. Well, before I get my screen on and everything else, here we go. Roman Reigns, 1,000 days, and of course he's over 1,000 days after the premium event. But now he got a new belt. It looks pretty, and not only he, but we also awarded a new champion. So Hector, I mean, go ahead and tell us, man. Tell us how you feel.
Look, like I was stating when it was off the air, in the last 10 years since The Rock debuted a new title when he won the championship, it seems to me that the WWE doesn't know where they want to go with this. Why are we seeing so many different changes and styles to the belts, in the last decade? Okay, we've seen it with, like I said, with The Rock starting it, and then they decided to come out with the brand new Universal Championship title. Okay, and that goes from red to being blue. Okay, they can't seem to keep a color on that title. They don't know what brand they want to keep it on. And then now that we see in an era in which one man is dominating the sport and holding two titles, now they decide, well, since we're not going to split the titles, we'll make up another title, another design, and give it to somebody else. And then, well, now since this guy's got two belts, he's staying on one show, we'll just strip him of both those belts and give him another stylish belt. To me, this is just overkill. I know over you were saying something about, the change of management, so they're going to change things up. Look, I want to see consistency here. Just like we're seeing Roman Reigns' consistency as a champion, let me see a consistency with a championship belt. Okay. By far, to me, I think the Eagle Wing was probably the most popular one, and that stood that way for a very long time. Okay. But all of a sudden, we're in a new era. And it seems like we're just throwing out different ideas and trying to make them come to fruition. And I'm not a fan of it.
All right, Frank, go ahead.
But you said it. You just said a key word. We're in a new era. When new eras come changes.
But why do we got to change it so every couple of years? Why can't it be, stay for 10, 15 years one way and then we change it up instead of changing it up 3-4 different ways in the last 10 years? Okay.
I mean, the design has stayed the same for the past at least 5 to 6, 7 years, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't researched anything that I'm talking about, so I might be wrong. But I
that's
think
not good for Frank. I mean, he always researches, man.
I know.
Oh man.
But I'm almost sure that the design has been pretty much the same for the past 6, 7 years. Now the fact that they've gone ahead, they've changed the color here, changed the color there. Well, you know what? When you have a draft, right? What happens? They have pulled superstars from Raw, the champions, and then they've gone to SmackDown. So you know what? You have to make changes.
I'm glad that you mentioned about the draft because I'm gonna talk about that in just a little bit. But not to jump in, cut off you or cut you off there, Frank. But the WWE Championship the World Heavyweight Championship. Listening to other podcasts, man, I've now the name has come out of the blue right here. The commentator from WWE, what's his name?
Michael
Oh,
Cole,
Graves, Corey Graves.
Corey Graves.
I listened to his podcast, and when he looked at the championship belt that Seth Rollins has, and I'm gonna put it up right now next to Roman Reigns, right? That has a symbol. So when you look at that, that belt has a lot of history of from current to like decades and like years of the past of the history of the WWE. And I find that belt fascinating that that belt has a lot of meaning and well deserving is for Seth Rollins to lead that charge as to bringing up history. Okay. Now, as far as Roman Reigns' belt, trying to understand and everything else, that was to commemorate, excuse me, the 1000th day reign as the WWE Universal Champion. And then Triple H was there to award him a brand new unified championship belt. Now, it could be because it probably did not want Seth Rollins to jump back to Raw and trying to defend both titles, just sticking one brand. And that's when that draft comes in. I think the draft only is for the number one draft pick, right? Roman Reigns. Okay. I don't think Seth Rollins was number one on his draft, was he?
I don't think he was.
I
I
don't
don't
think he
think so.
was.
But what the bottom line is, trying to look at this in the bigger picture, I don't think they want Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns to be in the same brand. And both of them are the face of WWE. You hear me mention it time and time again that in the WWE, there's really two superstars, and you can't decide which one's better than who, right? Because they're both unique in their own ways. In my opinion, I think Seth Rollins is way better than Roman Reigns. That's just my opinion.
You
And
know,
the reason why I tell you that is because Seth Rollins could blend in any type of character, any type of gimmick, right? Roman Reigns got two gimmicks. He was the good guy for a long time, and now he found himself after he took a big break, especially during the pandemic. He comes back, and now he is the one. You know what I mean? So, but again, that's my opinion. But both these guys are top of their game, and there's no one, and please don't. I'm I'm waiting for people to argue it about, well, what about Drew McIntyre? What about Sheamus?
mm,
What about this and all?
no.
There's no one in wrestling history right now. I don't care what promotion you in. They just don't. No one's better than Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns.
I agree with you on that part, but I don't agree with the fact that we're gonna have two superstars on top of the WWE universe. To me, it has to only be one. Okay, like Hulk Hogan dominated the golden era in the 80s. He was the wrestler. He was the man. Yes, you had the Macho Man. Yes, you had the Ultimate Warrior, but it was always Hogan that stood on top of that mountain of the WWE. And then in the 90s, okay, we had a lot of more superstars, but The Undertaker seems to surpass them all, passing The Rock, passing Triple H, passing Stone Cold Steve Austin as the epitome of what wrestling is at that moment. And you're right that right now we got two that are almost equal, but I don't agree with that. One has to meet, in my opinion, as a wrestling fan, one has to stand above the other one, just maybe a little bit, to say that I am number one in the wrestling business as of today. There's no sharing, in my opinion. It has
Well,
to
if
be only
that's the
one.
case, if that's the case, arguably, again, we could say that Roman Reigns is because he was the two belt champ. He is the undisputed champion.
Yeah. And I can see that. Yeah. If I'm going to give the edge to anybody, a 51-49 edge, I'm going to give it to Roman Reigns because of that.
59-49. Come on, man. You need
51-49.
you need electoral votes to come up with that.
Well, it's just that you're right. The Seth Rollins is pretty much at that level because of what his status is. But when you talk about the face of the business at the moment, I would say it has to be Roman Reigns, not Seth Rollins. Technically, that's just my opinion.
Technically.
You got two
And you know
brands.
what? You're absolutely right. I mean, I can't it's hard to argue this case, in fact, because Roman Reigns has defeated everybody on the roster pretty much. I still disagree with the match between him and Seth Rollins because again, disqualification and everything else always need assistance, but that's part of the game, right?
Right, exactly.
Like Triple H says, that's his thing. But
But
let's
well,
talk about Roman Reigns
but Frank,
because
real quick, he was saying
go
what you
ahead.
were saying, Frank, because there's two brands. Is that
Hold
the
on,
reason why?
wait. Let me explain myself
Mm-hmm.
better because just two brands. We've had two brands since 1999. But the thing is that you have both brands, and they're both dominating a lot more now than what they did in the past. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why you were able to get away with having one face of the company. But now where you have two big superstars, where you have Roman Reigns and you have Seth Rollins, they're huge names. Okay, those are the two faces of their respective brands. There's not one face of WWE anymore. If there is, you know what? It's going to be Triple H because he's the guy on top. Bottom
I
line.
mean, he's the
I
guy
mean,
behind the scenes. I mean,
Yeah.
but he's still
but
on
I
top.
know what you're saying, and that's something that John Cena said before he stepped away to be a part timer. Is that this is the point where everyone's gonna be a fan of everybody's. Everyone has different tastes. It's not
Right.
no longer gonna be that one guy like Hulk
So
Hogan was, like The
so
Rock, like Stone Cold. You know
Like
what I
Cena
mean?
was also. I mean,
Right. You're
so
absolutely right.
so Frank, do you feel that there was somebody at the Undertaker's level when Raw and SmackDown was their two separate entities? When let's just say when Undertaker was on SmackDown, was there somebody on Raw that was equal to the Undertaker to say that you could have two people running the business as the face?
at that time, no.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get at. Right now, we shouldn't even have that debate either.
Well,
But
I
And it
the
don't
thing
know.
should
is
I
just
that
be
you
mean,
have is that right now you have two guys that could be the face. So they have their own brand. So
well,
they're the face of their own brands.
what about John Cena? Could he have not been arguably the face of the WWE when he
he
what
is
he's
the
done
face
in
of
the ring?
WWE.
He
But
was the
when the
face.
no,
And he still is the face
but when the
when you think
Undertaker's in
about
the
it.
picture, you're gonna tell me that he's gonna be the face over
Well,
the
that's
Undertaker?
different
You
because
see?
well, here's the catch: is that during this time, who stood out more? Was it the Undertaker or John Cena?
John Cena stood out more.
John Cena stood out the most. He was the face. He sold more merchandise. He was the face of the Wish Foundation. He did some movies and stuff like that, and he was all around type of person that he was everywhere, every talk show, everything he done for that company. You know, it's like what we've done in the army, selfless service and stuff like
Well,
that. That
I
was
think
John Cena for that organization. So he did a lot more than in the ring. He did
well, yeah, and
things
I get
outside
that
the ring.
because I feel that you have to stay within your character within that business, and John Cena was always a face. When he did all that, Undertaker had to stay in character as the Undertaker, so that wouldn't have fit his role. But when
Mm.
you talk about in-ring performance, just like we saying Roman Reigns has beaten everybody, the Undertaker has done the same exact thing, and that's why I feel that he was above John Cena as the face of the WWE when they were both in-ring competitors. That's why I think Roman Reigns should be the face over Seth Rollins. I got nothing against Seth Rollins because that is my new favorite wrestler since the Undertaker's retired. But I don't feel that he should be the face over Roman Reigns. That's
I
just
Why?
my
mean,
Because
opinion.
I
Roman Reigns
respect
been
your
champion
opinion.
longer.
It's fine. But hey, let's move on, and we can argue about this later. Um, but other things that's happened, and now we talk about Roman Reigns being the face. People were getting his face this past SmackDown.
Man.
You look how happy this bloodline is, but things were not looking pretty right now as Jimmy Rollins, excuse me, that's a baseball player. Jimmy Uso is stepping up to his face to Roman Reigns, and and he's trying to explain to him about what the bloodline's really about.
Mhm.
Okay. And I like your opinion on this because, and I start with you, Frank. Was Jimmy right? Was Jimmy right to step up to Roman Reigns and tell him what a bloodline should be?
Of course, he's right. Listen, when things are going south, and things are going wrong, it always takes one person to go up to to the leader of the pack. In this case, it's Roman Reigns. And say, hey, man, this is what's going wrong. This is where we're losing it. You got to bring that out there because you have to make all members of the parties happy too.
I have to
You
disagree
know,
with you.
I think so be it. I mean, if I
No,
think
I
you're
mean,
doing
I'm gonna
something
tell you my
wrong,
evidence as to why I disagree with you. But I
shoot.
mean, you feel like what you're telling me is that Roman Reigns should treat the Usos differently. There should be more respect, more how you say it, holding hands and caressing, hugging for every achievement. Is that what you're saying?
No, 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 no.
That's what I heard from your mouth. I mean, I heard they had to cater to one another. Is what you're saying?
No, I don't think it's a cater.
Go ahead. Tell
Okay.
me more.
When
Tell me
things are
more.
going wrong, all right, and
But
you're
how's it going wrong though? Because the Usos lost the belts. That's what's going
if
wrong. I
I
mean,
feel look, you
go-
know what? Watch this. We're gonna do our own bloodline here. This is simple.
okay,
Ovi's the leader of the show, right? Right?
okay.
It's your show, right? You're the leader of it.
It's our
If
show, but okay,
it's our show. It's our
right.
show. So it's
But
our blood.
here's the catch: Roman Reigns was the champion first. Roman Reigns was accomplishing stuff before he united the family together. Okay,
Mhm,
he had beef with Jay Uso to the point that they had to fight against each other in the middle of the ring.
mhm,
Okay. So Roman Reigns has always been Roman Reigns. So why would you change that? He expects the Usos and anybody in his bloodline to achieve high, not settle for less. You see what I'm saying? And that's
mhm.
exactly what he's doing. And that's what's happening in real life right now. Okay. He wants more. That's why he was like, I want this belt. I want that. He didn't settle for just one championship belt. He want all the championship belts because he feels like he is the best and he's going to achieve it all the way through until somebody knocks him down. So everybody around him, he's elevating everybody that he's wrestling. And if you're in his family, like he had with Sami Zayn, he elevated him. Look where he's at now. Everyone's cheering for this guy. Mr. Conspiracy from before is now the face again for the WWE. You see what I'm saying? So when Jimmy comes out and starts talking to him, no, this is a monarchy. A monarchy is one guy leading the way, and he's telling everybody what to do. So why you accepted him that way? That's why he says, acknowledge me. You already acknowledge the person that Roman Reigns is, and you're going to stick with that plan. You accepted it. Why are you going to try to change it after you already accepted?
I can see that. You made your point very clear. I acknowledge Ovi.
Oh, man, get out of here. I mean, because it took me a while to understand. Yeah, at first, when Jimmy was saying that, I was like, dude, you made a lot of sense. And then when you look at back, it was like, well, you went ahead and defended your brother when he was getting his ass whooped against Roman in Hell in the Cell, and you say, I acknowledge you, tribal chief, right? And right there, Jimmy started to change. When he started to disagree to agree of everything. Yes, yes, tribal chief. Yes. So you was a yes man. Now you don't want to be a yes man no more. You're mad because he's in your face. You know what I mean?
Maybe he's been
Maybe that's
holding.
why Solo hit him. You know what I'm saying? Like you're I don't know. I don't want to
I don't
cuss and
know,
stuff like
man.
that, but
That's a little. That's a.
and
I
and watch this. Towards the end, when Roman Reigns was leaving back, and I gotta get that picture. Here we go. All right, look at this look right there. This was prior to where Paul Heyman asked him, "What about Jey Uso?"
right.
And what did Roman Reigns say?
Jay will do what he always does. Fall
He'll
in
get
line.
in line, right? He'll get in
Mhm.
line to the bloodline. He's gonna do always. He's always a follower. He's not a leader, and he ruined that already by not beating Roman Reigns. That's
But
it.
I but I don't see him falling in line back with Roman Reigns.
Okay. I
I
don't
see
I
him
see
backing
anyone
up
in
his
the
brother.
bloodline taking him down. I don't. I do not see anyone. Not the Usos, not Solo. A lot of rumors are speculating Solo will turn and then he's the one. He is not the one. I'm sorry. The
No,
storyline does not make sense for any of the family members to get in there. Okay.
No, but I think it could be the family members that causes him to fall to someone else. I think
I
Jimmy
like
was
that idea.
I think Jimmy was playing possum since that Hell in a Cell I Quit match. He never, to me, he never took Roman Reigns seriously. And I think he just fell in line just to mock him and just to make Roman believe that he was falling in line with this. I think his whole
So
purpose was
he
to try
went
to get
quickly to
Jay.
kick Sami Zayn in the face. Like he could have not done anything to Sami Zayn.
I think it's more towards his brother Jay than it is to Roman Reigns. He's trying to save Jay out of all this because Jay would not, does like you said, doesn't know when to say, hey, I don't need to deal with this. Jay doesn't. He's confused. We've talked about this before. And I think Jimmy's the one that's the level-headed one.
Yeah. Well, I
well,
tell you what. Again, the question is are the bloodline done? I'ma say no. I think that is gonna be another series. I won't be surprised if Roman Reigns reaches 2,000 days. We could be talking about this next year and add a couple of more months because there's nobody at his level.
We're going to talk
Unless
about this till you turn 50.
true
I
story.
don't.
But you be 50 before me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You see, you be the last one to 50. We'll still be talking about the bloodline and Roman Reigns catching the
No.
number one spot.
But there's another faction that's claiming that the bloodline is done and that they're the real deal. Okay. And there's no other than these guys, the Judgment Day. Okay. Now, is there friction within the Judgment Day after you saw Monday Night Raw? That's what I want to know.
I wouldn't say friction just yet, but maybe Finn is starting to question a couple things here and there. You
Who's the
know,
actual real leader of Judgment Day? Because I'm gonna put this picture up right now and I'm gonna tell you, okay, Damian Priest, I think his mojo stepped up after that Bad Bunny WrestleMania backlash. You know what I mean? Like he started representing in all his matches and everything else. You got Dum Dum, uh, who again he's just a puppet of the Judgment Day. Finn Balor, is he really the leader? Because he too has blown so many opportunities to get a title. And then you got Rhea Ripley, which again, like, is she the man of Judgment Day? Because she rather step up to the men instead of focusing on which female superstars should be her next opponent. So, I mean, again, now we could just narrow it down to two people: Finn Balor, Damian Priest. Okay, what's going? They're clashing. They already started to clash, even though people don't want to admit, like, oh, it was that. But everybody wants a voice. And their voice, someone has to be a louder voice. That's going to be a disruption for the Judgment Day.
I will say that Damian Priest is the leader of the Judgment Day, but Finn Balor is looking to be the leader. Finn Balor wants to be the leader.
Well, there's got to be a leader in a faction, man. It really does. Like, who's calling the shots, or they're trying to call it equally. So I understand that the equality of what they're trying to bring for Judgment Day, right? But it just seems like they're not going to respect one another, because when Damian Priest wanted to be like, I want a fair fight, Finn Balor was not having it. And then Finn Balor came out of nowhere, and Damian Priest questioned him during the match, like, "Yo, why are you here?" You know what I mean? So, and that helped Seth Rollins become victorious because Damian Priest lost sight of what he wanted to achieve.
I think Rhea Ripley's the actual leader because she's the only one doing anything to be as an accomplishment in that group. Everybody else has been losing a lot of matches lately. Nobody seems to have a level head and know what they want to do, who they want to step up to, and there's no consistency but Rhea Ripley. You know, since she's won that title, defended that title, and getting into men's face, I'll tell you what, equal opportunity is the thing nowadays, right? Somebody's going So one of those guys will knock the tooth out of her. But anyway, that's besides the point.
Yeah,
I
hey
say
man, I've
she's
been
the
waiting
leader.
for that already. I've
I
been
think
waiting.
she's the leader. She calls the shots, and she calls the shots as far as who's going to stay, who's going to go.
Okay. All right. I tell you this. Here's my prediction: is that if Finn Balor gets a chance to go after Seth Rollins, if for some odd reason Finn Balor wins and becomes the next champion, I'm gonna tell you right now, Damian Priest will no longer be with Judgment Day.
Well, they did have beef before they became members of Judgment Day. They did, and Balor
Well,
beat him.
we'll
So
see. I think that we're soon gonna see Damian Priest as a champion, well deserving. So I think he was the United States champion before, right? Right.
Yes.
So he's
yeah,
due. He is due. Um, but hey, 3 topics. Way to go. I mean, what's the fans? What is your opinion? Of course, we get those comments later on after the show, after we replay this and everything else. But I got a feeling that this is the start of the Judgment Day falling apart, man. I really do. And it mirrors with the bloodline. But the only thing is, bloodline is family. And it takes a longer time for that to disassemble compared to the Judgment Day that they were just put together. And of course, Edge was the one that started it. So, but Dum Dum, Demi Mysterio, man, getting involved into something I don't get it, man. Now he wants to fight Cody Rhodes. Why is it that he always want to target people that like they're
not
like
100%.
Cody Rhodes got a broken arm? You're gonna go after a dude with a broken arm, but you can't go against someone your size, whatever, dude. I'm sorry. Sooner or later, he's gonna crash down too. So,
yeah, he'd probably be the last one to fall, though.
do you think?
I think Dom will be the last one to go down because he got mommy there to protect him.
Freaking mommy always protecting the little one. Till mommy had enough, and then wah. No stop. Anyhow, hey, this is good talk, man. I like this. Hey, I'll listen. I'm already messing up with my words. I know we're live and stuff like that. But hey, if you didn't hear the interview with Landon Hill, please do. Go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and seek Landon Hill. He is the future superstar in the wrestling industry. He has a match coming up this Friday, June 9th in Waterbury, Connecticut with Northeast Wrestling. His interview was awesome. I also want to say special thanks to Joe Aguirre, who came in relief. Found him in the bullpen somewhere, and I was like, "Come on now, here's the ball, warm up." And he dove right in, man. And it's pretty awesome to hear a legendary radio talk host coming onto the show and share his expertise on doing an interview. But Landon Hill had a lot of things to say. Again, he's making a comeback in the wrestling after his injury. Find out more on that and how resilient he was to be able to get back in the ring. And you'll be surprised what his actual goals are. I found that very fascinating. So if you haven't seen it, once again, just you could Google it as well. But go to our YouTube channel, the HHW Show Podcast, Landon Hill. And man, we could learn a lot from this guy, man. Absolutely. Also coming up on the show, we're gonna have my prediction show with Northeast Wrestling, June 9th. It's gonna be epic, man. The main event is going to be the tag team titles. Matt Taven and Brian Anthony are going to defend their titles, and of course, the Victorium is going on with an 8-man tag with a new champion, the Sweet Victory himself, the victorious BRG. So, hey, if you're local here in Connecticut, by all means, check it out. And if you got a independent wrestling in your area, please visit them, man. Give them that support. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Hector. Until next time, next week, we'll catch you later. Thank you, everybody. Let's enjoy some awesome wrestling, shall we?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Go Heat. Oh, wait. That's trust.